Well viewers, welcome to 4 Wheel Drive TV. I'm Simon Christie and what an amazing episode we've got for you this week. We start off across near Portland in Victoria for a fantastic trip we did exploring the local caves and sand dunes and bush tracks. Watch out for that one. We've also got the amazing 4x4 Krooze over in Adelaide. Well, no delay, let's get stuck straight into another big episode of 4 Wheel Drive TV. Tread lightly, keep it safe, play hard.
Check my bag to find my keys. That is where I guess they'll be. Hi, I'm Rodney from Wholesale Automatic Transmissions, and thanks to a generous invitation from Simon and Miranda Christie of Your 4x4 and Pro Tips, we've come down to the far southwest of Victoria, just outside of Portland.
Portland has one of the first deep water ports in Victoria and also one of the very first places settled. A little bit further up the coast is another port, Port Fairy, and that was also a very famous whaling station way back in the 1834s. This is the sort of thing that we get to experience when you get out there on the tracks and get some interesting history behind you. So not only out there on some really great tracks that we've been able to do today, even though we had a little rain last night, we've also got fantastic history behind all of the trips that we do. So we like to build in some history, find out about where you are and why you're there.
Hi guys, David Brickhill from Kmart 4 Wheel Drive. Well, here we are again, out in the bush, having an absolute ball of a time. We've come up from Portland this morning and done some of the nice little forest tracks and have come up to a place called Mount Clay.
Hi, my name's Matt from ARB Regency Park in Adelaide. It's fantastic to once again join Simon and Miranda Christie on one of their adventures with all of the sponsors for 4 Wheel Drive TV. We've had a brilliant day here and just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing the last few hours. We've had a pretty spectacular day here today. It started off quite changeable this morning, incredibly windy, but it's fined up very, very nicely now. Spectacular blue skies, beautiful temperature. We started off over at Mount Clay, which was some pretty difficult terrain there, but then we headed over to Mount Eccles, and then we wended our way through some pretty rough track.
The fence line we covered hadn't been driven for quite some time. Even amazing was that the tracks are actually quite dusty, even though they had this rain this morning. So we followed the fence line all the way through the Mount Eccles State Forest and then gradually across the lava plains. Well, this was really something, I can assure you.
The rocky driving through the area is just magnificent and gave the suspension a real workout, but I think just the whole difference of the areas that we'd been up until that point became a dense forest with a lot of rocky outcrops and a lot of rocky areas.
I thought it looked like windrows through the trees. In fact, when we started to have a closer look, it was actually rows of volcanic rocks. It was probably the most unusual tight scrub landscape that I've probably ever seen.
After we wound our way through some more quite difficult tracks and with the cars bouncing around all over the place, we got onto a lava formation called a natural bridge.
Also walking through that area, it was the rocks itself. The gravel that was on the ground that we were walking on was very, very light and very aerated because it was old volcanic rock, so it was really impressive to see another lovely part of Victoria.
We shot out to the west and get to the state forest, and that included getting under a power line track, and I suppose a few of you have been on those and they can be a bit rough.
Cruised down the coast, headed over to Bridgewater Bay and some absolutely amazing scenery out to the coast, waves rolling in, hugely windy, very, very cold, but we all survived because it's absolutely beautiful out there.
From there, we went across and you should have seen these great big windmills there for the power. Absolutely fantastic when you're up so close to them. They really look like they're going to chop you in half.
Really interesting place to come and see, and not too far from where all the other places we've been to today.
From there we had a look around the blowhole. There was a big blowhole area there. The sea was quite turbulent. Simon was down there having a really close look and getting some close shots.
Wandered around a little bit further around the coast to the blowhole and also to the petrified forest, and everybody was absolutely blown away by the beautiful scenery that's in this area. It's definitely a must-see destination for anybody who lives in Victoria or anywhere near it.
G'day, I'm Justin from opposite Lock 4-Wheel Drive in Adelaide. Today we've got our 4x4 by Krooze 2012. We had the event last year, so this is a second annual event. We've got 65 entries today, which is double what we had last year. Looks like the weather's going to hold out for us. We didn't get the sunshine like we did last year. We've extended this year and made the show a little bigger, and we've got 12 categories of prizes. So we've got over $7,000 worth of prizing this year. Again, we've got a good mix. We've got some nice touring rigs, some really big lifted tough truck, Range Rovers, Land Rovers, Hiluxes. There's a good mix, even a couple little Suzuki Jimneys here. Looks like it's going to be a great day. And like I said, if the weather holds out for us, it should be good. The location we're in down here is basically central to Glenelg, down at the beach. It's a big, huge reserve, almost right on the foreshore. It's a really popular area during summer, and if the sun's out, you get a lot of people down here. The whole idea of the cruise is basically like a big Christmas party for all your four-wheel drivers in the Adelaide area. Just to come together, you can have a look at each other's rigs, talk about trips, talk about accessories. We give you a gift pack and that sort of thing. So it's all about you guys. I don't have any trade stalls here today. So it's very much just a show and shine event and about the owners of the vehicles. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this year. We've had some new ones come on board. That's opposite Lock 4-Wheel Drive, obviously. GME, Radios, Nava, Tough Dog, Smart Bar, Bull Bars, Truckee Seat Covers, Dolium, Outback Accessories, Mickey Thompson, and of course Simon and Miranda from 4-Wheel Drive TV are here, which is great to see them again catch up.
This week I thought we'd take a quick look at what the wheelers in the Dominican Republic are up to. As we jump on board with local enthusiast Franklin and the FJ Island Cruiser DR Club. Like the rest of us wheelers, the Dominicans obviously love the mud and getting out in their modded vehicles. These well set up FJ cruisers certainly look the part in the local jungle, and I'd love to join them one day for a trip. We hope to see more from these guys in the future, and would like to thank the Dominicana Off-Road, the FJ Island DR Club and Entrenamiento Visual.
The next generation of shock absorbers is here. Leading the way in 4x4 suspension development, Old Man Emu introduces the most advanced and finely tuned shock absorber on the market. Nitro Charger Sport incorporates a new valving system that instantly adapts to all terrain for an outstanding smooth ride and phenomenal control. Backed by a 3-year, 60,000 kilometre warranty, you can trust Nitro Charger Sport, built in Australia for Australian conditions.
If you drive a four-wheel drive with or without a dual battery kit, then it's time to upgrade. Modern vehicles and modern battery technologies require smart electronics, and the Piranha Off-Road Products DBE 140 dual battery controller has all the smart grunt you will need packed into an affordable and tiny package. Priced at just $170, the Piranha DBE 140 is the smart choice in dual battery management. For more information on how you can stay charged, visit piranhaoffroad.com.au.
Finally, the driving light you've always wanted is here, boasting a class-leading free-form reflector and a super tough polycarbonate lens and ABS housing. The all-new Nava Ultimate 225 is a revolutionary driving light, available in halogen, halogen blue and HID, in both spread and pencil beams, and supplied complete with a plug-and-play wiring harness and polycarbonate lens protectors. These Aussie Outback Tough Lights outshine the competition. Visit nava.com.au for more information and make the switch to the brightest lights in town.
We're down here at Portland today at the sand dunes. It's the first time for me here. So, as you can see, prepared the car. I've got the sand flag on. We turn around, we've got our permits. I've let the tyres down to 20 pounds on this car. It's a nice sunny day. It's going to be a great day. I can't wait. Let's go.
The first section of it, we had to go through quite a narrow little road out to the beach, somewhat overgrown, very, very narrow. It opens up onto this absolutely amazing view. Blue water, blue skies, white sand. It's picture book stuff.
The beach was beautiful. It's a lovely day. The surf was going. I've never seen so much blue in my life.
The actual scenery here is fantastic. Geez, I wish I'd brought my fishing gear. Some beautiful, nice gutters sitting along the beachfront.
We had a good look around, had a bit of a photo shoot.
Then after a little bit of a break, we turned around and headed back into the dunes. Unfortunately, one of the vehicles did get stuck. It was some quite soft sand out there on the beach. Simon and Miranda had to winch him out. Once he got out, Simon just advised him to drop his tyre pressures a little bit more than he already had, and from then on we had no dramas for the rest of the day.
We went up onto the sand dunes, we found a big bowl, we were all playing in it, we were all charging around it and having a lot of fun. We spent quite some time in there and I couldn't get the smile off my face for quite some time.
We went into a large sand bowl up in the dunes, an amazing sight, clear on all sides. You pop through this tiny little neck and then it just opens up into this clear yellow sand. Brilliant little spot, and we had a bit of a play around in there. Nobody had any dramas, we all had a lot of fun.
I have a little bit more trouble. I thought my car was all decked out. I had the big tyres, they're wide, chunky. I had all the lightweight vehicle and everything, and I found myself getting stuck more times than anybody else on this trip. But the camaraderie of the group, they got behind us and they worked it out. I'd been using my rear diff lock. You can't use a rear diff lock on the sand. It's great in the dirt, it ain't no good on the sand dunes. So I learned something. But then the country changed, you started seeing from a sweeter major key. And that melody, the hard to see, could lead a man to open gun.
From there we headed in through the back to an extremely large sand dune. It was actually quite intimidating. You come up over a relatively flat section that's high up and you can see right over the Swan Lake and the Portland Bay, and it's a brilliant sort of vista. But then you get to the edge of this dune and it just drops. It was quite intimidating, I must admit. Simon ended up going down it first, proved to everybody that it was just fine, and I ended up following in the FJ, and it was a bit of a ride, I can tell you that much.
Going down, almost sheer down, I had my gut turning just watching them go down the hill. And then they turned around and I had the guts to get back up the hill. My hat's off to them. Being a beginner, I left it to the experts this time. I might have a go next time.
Most of us got to the top, but we just couldn't get over that lip, so we had to be towed over. We've all had a fantastic day and really appreciate Simon and Miranda inviting us along. If you're ever down Portland and you've got a four-wheel drive, I highly recommend you get down to the Portland sand dunes. Spend a day, spend half a day, but get down here and have a great day.
G'day, I'm Jeff from opposite Lock in Adelaide. I'm looking after the ramp today for our 2012 4x4 by Krooze. We're going to run an RTI, so it's ramp travel index. It's how fast someone can basically get up the ramp versus the wheelbase of the vehicle. So we're going to run them up forwards and backwards, and then use the wheelbase of the vehicle to calculate an index, and then the highest index, of course, will win this prize. What the RTI index will give us is something that tells us how well the vehicle will flex, so how much wheel travel we're going to get into the guards and out of the guards without losing contact with the ground and therefore traction. Bit of a showy thing for people, but it's nice for people to see what their car can do or can't do. So the process we use when we're calculating the RTI index of a vehicle is to get someone to nice and gently run their vehicle up the ramp. We basically measure it at the point where 3 wheels are on the ground and 1 at the ramp, and use that measurement from an index point at the end of the ramp. What that does is gives us a measurable point for each car with all 3 wheels on the ground. Usually only just, that's the point of it.
I'm Chris Weston, off-road racer and owner of Off-Road Rush, and I wouldn't race on anything else than my Mickey Thompson tyres. I trust my Mickey Thompsons at high speed. They can handle wet or dry without any trouble. And that means I can keep racing while the competitors stop to change tyres. Mickey Thompson? No wonder they call them legendary.
Call 1300-MICKEY for your nearest dealer.
Viewers, the wait is over. Shop online at the 4Drive TV store for personalised merchandise, 4Drive TV clothing, 4Drive products and even DVD subscriptions. That's right, 2 episodes of 4Drive TV posted out to you every fortnight for the whole series, and all for just $50. Support your favourite program, wear the brand you love and never miss another episode with our collector's DVD subscriptions. Get shopping at 4drivetv.com.au with the 4Drive TV online store.
G'day, my name's Matt, this is my rig. It's a 94 naturally aspirated GQ. I've had it for around about 5 years. I'm from up in the Adelaide Hills. We do a few of the local tracks, but been out the high country a few times. Been a good car to me. I've had it since it's done 130. It's now down 275. It's got a 2-inch body lift, 2-inch suspension, 33 MTZs, custom fat bar, twin UHFs and all the other goodies that make it go. I've just put in a mechanical locker and I've got a turbo sitting in the shed. I've got a million LEDs going through the whole thing. We've made some custom drawers that go in it. Stereo, 7-inch screen, GPS. I love it and I look forward to doing more to it.
If you'd like to be the weekly Your Rig right here on 4 Wheel Drive TV, then send an email to myself with Your Rig in the subject line. Each weekly winner takes home an electric blue Spanset snatch strap, an X17 Fiskars synthetic axe, a HEMA Great Desert Tracks Atlas and Guide, an RFI UHF antenna courtesy of RFI Antennas, a DP chip stubby holder and Berrima diesel cap, an ARB cap, ARB Penrith stubby holder, an emergency can of ARB Outback Survival socks, a set of 4-wheel drive TV stickers, an ARB rechargeable LED adventure light, a 911 memorial cap courtesy of 511 Tactical, a tyre puncture repair kit courtesy of Black Widow, a super winch cap, an RFI stubby holder and an RFI cap, magazines courtesy of South Pacific Bow Hunter, Wild Deer Hunting Adventures and Dirt Comp. And it's all neatly and safely packaged in an ARB cargo gear carry bag.
I'd like to say thank you to Simon and Miranda. It was really nice to meet you guys and spend a bit of time up here in the hills with you. Thank you very much and cheers for all the prizes.
We've had a total of 60 entrants, as I said before. Been a great successful day here. Shame the rain came a little bit, which did dampen spirits a little bit, but everyone stayed around. We've given out some prizes and there were some great rigs here, some really tough trucks, some great tourers and some great all-rounders. All of us work after hours and on the day, and everyone that's helped out's volunteered well, so I'd like to really thank that list of sponsors that I went through for their support. If without them we wouldn't be able to give away some fantastic prizes and no one would want to come to the event. So it was really good of those guys to put in the effort and give us some good prizes. While proceedings have finished here down at the Oval, we're all lining up to go for a tour through the city, which should be quite good with 60-odd 4-wheel drives through the middle of the city. It'll be a pretty impressive sight with 60 trucks in convoy here. See if we can turn some heads and get some appreciation for the money and time and effort we spend on our 4-wheel drives. The day's been a huge success. It's been a real sight for the people in the city. We've held up a bit of traffic here and there, but we've kept the convoy pretty well tight-knit, and it's great to see the 4-wheel drives rumbling down Hindley Street. All sorts of different breeds of 4-wheel drives working together and coming together for a great day. Hopefully we'll pick a day with a bit of sun in 2013, so keep watching 4-wheel drive TV and watch out on the Opposite Lock website for more information for our 2013 4x4 by Krooze.
G'day, I'm Aaron Habe. I come from Walker's Flat in South Australia. I run this Pro Buggy number 57, which is a Southern Cross Mark V race frame with element suspension on it. Runs a 6-litre Chev, which is pretty much a stock engine. We run a Albin's transmission, which is a 5-speed sequential with a torque converter drive system. The biggest advantage of that, I suppose, is driveline fatigue. It helps us out a bit. We also run these big 37-inch grabber tyres. Pretty helps us get more traction in the sand and that, so it's pretty good sort of tyres. The biggest difference between the other car is a single seater having to do all the navigation yourself, and sometimes it goes against you, but sometimes it goes for you because of the weight difference. Run a power steering system. Obviously the suspension is the key to what we've been doing and our success. So we've got no zero bump steer, and the handling is just brilliant through the rough, and we just don't need the horsepower to get the same result, which is really good. We run turning brakes, help to steer in the tight corners. That makes it a bit easier. This car here and myself were last year's SA Championship, won the state championship in front of my brother. So we got one up at the moment, which has been pretty cool. Well, the team last year has performed pretty faultlessly. We just had a wild time, really. Our sponsors are Tarby's Auto Centre, which does all our engine work and all our mechanical side of work. We've got Element Suspension, which builds it. We design and build that in-house, so you can't buy anywhere, which is good for us. We also get supported by Racer Imports and Kappa Performance. We're DNF the last event, so the plan is to finish tomorrow, hopefully pretty strong.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of 4 Wheel Drive TV. Jump onto the website, we've got stacks of prizes going and only a few weeks till we make that big draw, but you've got to be in it to win it. All details on the website. I'm Simon Christie. Tread lightly, keep it safe, play hard. I'll see you next week.